What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Head to Head, where we talk about football and other sports topics. My name is JT, and this is Beach over here. How you doing today?
Pretty good. How are you? Today we're going to get into the mock draft, look at all of the prospects and trade scenarios that might happen over this week with the first round taking place this Thursday night. We will have a live reaction after round one,
Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's gonna be crazy.
but today we'll look at some of the news that has come out over this past week as well as make our final mock draft picks and maybe our own little trade scenarios.
Yeah, for sure. I think we'll get into a little tidbits of news first. Get some of the most recent news out just from the past few days, past week or so. I think first things first. These new Cardinals uniforms, most recent big news. What are your thoughts
Oh
there?
my god. So I watched the reveal live stream when they were revealing them, and right when they walked out, I was like, "Oh my god!" I started laughing. They are just so like they took simplicity and just overdid it way too much. Like the Arizona in big letters Y, or like the stripes, they're just so basic on the white and the black uniforms. There's nothing unique about them. They have that bird gang or protect the nest. Uh, Sewed into it, stitched into it, and it's like corny. Like, bro, the older ones were better, I think.
I'm gonna have to agree. You were sending me screenshots of them as they were coming out because I wasn't home at the time, and my immediate thoughts were that they looked like college uniforms.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
a mashup of Ohio State and like Utah or
yeah, I'm looking
like
at them. I'm like, I don't know how they can get worse. It's just like so oversimplified and basic.
it's,
Like
they had all this build up and it took them like 3 years or something to design them. It took you 3 years to
three
design
years,
that.
3 years to use the paint bucket tool.
Yeah, I could have fucking designed that in paint in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The black ones, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to see how they look actually in
Well, like
game. But
look at their
like,
old white and black alternates. Those actually look good. Like, and then these are just they have the gray stripe and it just says Cardinals. Like,
I think
eh,
it kind of falls into the thing of like a lot of modernization with a lot of just like branding in general across like corporations is like there's this whole idea that like simplification is the way to go. But like these just kind of lose the vintage vibes that the old Cardinals uniforms had,
yeah, they have no.
which
There's nothing special about them.
I feel like you need to have that vintage vibe with literally the oldest team in the NFL.
Yeah, and
Like,
like even just take design cues from even their older uniforms. Like, I know they were simple, but like this doesn't have any flair or anything.
yeah, this is just
It
like
doesn't make me excited. If I was a Cardinals fan, it would not make me excited.
yeah, for sure. They kill my soul just looking at them. Look at Kyler Murray. He's all happy to be wearing
Yeah.
all
I'm
red.
tired of looking at this shit. Let's get on to the next.
Yeah, Bird Gang.
Jalen Hurts,
Jalen Hurts.
UB1,
I know you're excited about
reached a
that.
5-year, $255 million contract extension. He will be in Philly through 2028. Howie Roseman cooking as usual, reigning executive of the year. And if you take a look at his cap hit over the next few years, it gets even better. 6 million next year because he still has 1 year left on his rookie deal.
Oh yeah.
Only 13 million in 2024, and then 2025, 21 million, 2026, 31 million. That's already lower than like most of the fucking top 10 highest paid quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's huge for the Eagles' longevity. Hopefully, they're able to win a ring or two in that time frame. I mean, I hope not as your mortal enemy, but admittedly, it would be kind of cool to see. I mean,
Jalen Hurts is the man. He definitely earned this.
yeah, for sure. He's best quarterback they've had since. I mean, I mean, Wentz, I guess, for one season or two, but not really. I guess I don't know. Nick Foles,
Yeah, I
best is
guess
Nick
well,
Foles.
yeah.
I
Well, I
can't,
mean,
which isn't saying much either, but yeah.
if he lasts longer, he'll be our first really long-term franchise guy since like McNabb.
Here's something I actually just thought of. How do you think this affects the scene in the NFC East? Because the NFC East is such a it's actually a really fascinating division this century, just because the last 20 years or so there has not been a repeat division champion since the Eagles in like what 04.
Yeah, I think so.
Since then, it's bounced between all the teams. I say primarily most of the time like Eagles and Cowboys, with like Giants
Yeah,
and
Giants
Washington.
have got a few in there
I
too.
mean,
Yeah,
Giants have a couple of Super Bowls in there,
yeah,
but like for the most part, I think it's been Eagles Cowboys kind of owning the
yep.
division, with Washington and Giants kind of sprinkled in there
Oh
every
yeah,
couple of
and
years.
Washington's last win, they had a losing record.
That season doesn't count though for anyone. So I'm curious. Could this lead to the first time the NFC East has a repeat champion?
I think this is definitely the best chance in the last few years for it to happen.
I mean, let's be real. The Cowboys should have been able to make it happen for the past 6 years, honestly.
Well, the Cowboys,
Yes, yes I do.
they don't meet expectations. Well, depends what expectations you set for them, but
They've been high the
nobody
past few
ever
years.
actually believes that's going to happen aside from, deranged Cowboys fans, maybe like media and shit, but I don't know. I would personally say we're going to win the division. I mean, the Eagles are still the best team in the conference, I think. You look at the whole landscape of the NFC and the NFC East, I think Jalen Hurts is better than Dak Prescott. He's clearly the best quarterback in the division, and probably he is in the conference right now.
Hurts, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
I mean, who else really
Cowboys,
is there?
Dak Prescott, he's top five quarterback in the NFC, maybe top three.
Yeah, I mean,
And then,
you could make an argument for top,
yeah, you could say
almost
he's
make an argument
maybe the
top
second
five,
best.
top 10 in the NFL should be if he's actually
He
consistent.
could, yeah.
If he played how he
I
played
would,
in the wild card game, top 10 elite quarterback in the whole
I would
league.
say top 10 in the NFL, but man,
Well, I mean, I
but
don't.
either way, for like the rest of the NFC East, you saw the Giants. They just gave fucking Daniel Jones all that money, and I think they do have an out like after 2 years or something or a year, but still. And then you have Washington, who's going to be banking on Sam Howell.
I mean, who
Now, I
knows
think
what's going on
Sam
with him?
Howell will actually. I think he might surprise some people. I think he's a good quarterback.
See, on that note, Giants and Commanders, Redskins, whatever. I think Washington actually has a lot of pieces in place to be a really solid team in the very, very near future. I think quarterback is that one position they just need
Yeah,
solidified. Whereas the Giants, I would say, are kind of the opposite ish. Like Daniel Jones kind of saved his career last season.
oh yeah, for
Or let's
sure.
be real, Dable saved Jones's career.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and them getting both him back and Barkley back is huge for them. But I think beyond that, they are missing a ton of pieces on the rest of their roster. They have no receivers. How was their defense last year? Just like fine.
Their defense is actually pretty underrated. They have a lot of young, good,
Who they
solid pieces on there.
like wasn't Thibodeau really good last
Yeah, well,
season?
he was their rookie. Yeah, he
Yeah,
started off had a rocky start, but then he started getting pretty good later in the season. They have, Dexter Lawrence. They got Xavier McKinney. I'd say
yeah.
really there they need to solidify, maybe add another edge rusher, corner, but then like offense, yeah, they need wide receiver, they need interior offensive line.
Which we will hopefully get back to later when we
They did
determine the
trade for
draft.
Darren Waller. That adds some receiver help, even though he's a
Darren
tight end.
Waller's pretty huge, I think,
And
actually,
if
because
he stays healthy, he is a top five tight end in the league.
yeah, for sure. Well,
But
yeah,
really, I don't think. it affects it that much this year in the NFC East. I think Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are still the clear top contenders there. At least we'll have to see how the draft goes and
Here's the
maybe other trades.
here's the thing: if the Cowboys actually play consistent football, then they should give the Eagles a hard time. It should be a genuine battle for the division.
Yeah.
And to be fair, maybe it would have been a lot closer last season if Prescott didn't get injured that first game. Yeah, Cooper Rush carried our first several games,
It
but
probably would have been, but even then, like it came down to week 18 too. Like if we lost week 18, you guys had a chance. But
well,
If Jalen Hurts didn't miss those two games, if he played in those two games he missed against the
you
Cowboys
probably
and
would have
the
had it solidified
Saints, we would have won those games. Yeah,
because
as Gardner Minshew lost them both.
that last week the Cowboys had to win, which of course they didn't. Dak Prescott did the exact same play twice in a row, and of course he gets
Sam
picked the
Howell was
second time.
slinging that rock too.
That was painful, but whatever. Uh, we
I
had to
like
win.
that kid. I think he has a bright future.
I haven't seen much of him. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm a little excited to see how their next season goes. I They could have made playoffs this past season had Ron
Well, yeah,
Rivera not
Ron
been a
Rivera
complete.
didn't even know it was when they lost to.
They Well, I think they lost and the Packers won, and then it was a post game interview where he found out that they got eliminated. And
No,
he
they beat the
goes,
Packers. Oh, it was against the Browns
they
when
lost to the
they benched
Browns.
Heineke for Wentz. They put Wentz back in,
Why?
and he threw like 4 interceptions.
Heineke's literally better than Wentz in every
Well, he
aspect of
had
the
like
game.
1 or 2 bad games.
Heineke does not break both his ankles in one play.
Yeah, he had
Like,
like 1 or 2 bad games, and they like lost 2 games. And then Ron Rivera's like, okay, well Carson Wentz is back and healthy. I want to put him in. And then yeah, he throws 4 picks, and they fucking lose and get eliminated. And then
how?
Ron Rivera is at that press conference, and he's like, we could get eliminated.
What? We got eliminated?
Yeah,
How long has Rivera been on that team for now?
like 4 or 5 years at this
I'm
point.
a little surprised he's still there.
He has to do he's had to do like all of the cleanup and like dirty work for like Dan Snyder. He's had to be the face of that. I mean, I honestly feel bad for him for having to fucking put up with all that shit
Well, hopefully they
because
won't
he
do something.
really does have to clean up Dan Snyder's shit all the time.
Hopefully they won't.
Luckily,
Be
they're getting out of that soon.
Yeah. Hopefully that's wrapped up soon because I would like to see the Commanders in a better situation. They should bring back the Redskins.
That
Honestly.
fan base deserves
It-
a good
it's
team.
it's
A respectable
embarrassing
team.
because when you
And
think
it's a
about
stain on the whole league.
it's a stain on the whole league. But at the same time, the Washington team, Redskins, Commanders, whatever. No, let me rephrase that. The Washington Redskins is an extremely respectable and historical franchise in the league. Been around forever. They got like what 3 rings,
Yeah.
I think, back in like the '80s, early '90s, back when the NFC East owned the NFL. Uh,
And
and
they
and
before they like went into poverty, they had like the highest attendance rate in the whole league.
yeah, like huge franchise, and they've kind of just thrown it in the shitter, you know?
Yeah, like they've had a few good seasons here and there. Like they got Robert Griffin, and then they ruined his career. And then Kirk Cousins, they fumbled the bag with him, and then now it's just never ending.
It's like they're. I feel it's like one of those teams. They're always like they're on the cusp of something really
Yep.
good, but then some bullshit happens where it's like, all right, and we're back to being the laughing stock of the league.
And it all revolves around Dan Snyder. Thank
Yeah.
fuck he's gonna be out of here.
Dude. Jalen Hurts almost getting killed by that stadium last season.
Oh yeah, that too.
That was really funny and also ridiculous that happened.
Fuck you, Dan Snyder.
Fuck
You will
you.
not be missed.
Anyway, I like the
Next
tangent.
piece of
but
news.
no, actually, one more thing that we have in our notes here about Jalen Hurts. Implications for other quarterback deals, namely Lamar Jackson, Burrow, and Herbert, I think.
Well, yeah, that sets a new bar. we needed to get that done before they got done, so we could get him as low as possible, even though he's now the highest paid player. But
Yeah.
now, like Burrow's contract, he's going to be the next highest paid player.
Which,
And
to
then
be fair,
maybe
he does
Lamar.
deserve. Burrow
Yeah.
absolutely deserves to get
Now,
paid, but
does Lamar get the Jalen Hurts contract? Man, is it justified? Maybe.
do I want
I
him?
mean,
I
he
want
has
him
the
to.
MVP.
I
He
want
has a
him.
high winning percentage. He's the MVP, but like Jalen Hurts has proved so far that he's more durable than Lamar Jackson.
More dirt. I think.
And Lamar Jackson, he's missed 10 games over the past 2 seasons.
I think the biggest thing I compare
Jalen
between the
Hurts has
two.
missed 3.
I think the biggest thing I compare between the two, of Hurts and Jackson, is their how they've shown their ability to improve their game, improve their abilities
Yeah.
as a quarterback. Because for the first season or two, like Lamar Jackson was really good. I mean, got the MVP, but he was just running all over the place. He wasn't really a passer, you know. He wasn't a pocket quarterback.
I mean, he had his passing flashes, but he wasn't really
But
an
that wasn't
established kind
necessarily
of.
his most
Yeah,
established, consistent
it
game,
wasn't his game
which
at the time.
ideally
Yeah,
you do want in a quarterback no matter what. Because you can't have your quarterback running all over the field, taking hits left and right. That is going to deplete them very quickly.
and you've already seen it
And you
the
have seen
past
him
2 seasons with him. Yeah,
injured left and right. And anytime he's injured, it's just a toss up whether or not the Ravens are actually going to even make the playoffs.
oh,
Because
yeah.
right
In
now,
2021, they didn't, and then 2022, he was out whole playoffs. He couldn't even
yeah.
play in the playoffs.
And I see that. I look at the Ravens and I think this should be a Super Bowl contender. There was a good chunk of last season where I thought they were going to win the Super Bowl. I was like,
Well, it's like,
I think this is it. But that was with Lamar under center.
yeah,
And then looking at Jalen Hurts, in less time, he has become. I was about to say in less time he's become an MVP candidate caliber when literally Lamar got the MVP in like what, his second season.
yeah.
But I think you know what I mean in terms of his consistency of play and how he improved from his rookie season, where he was. I don't remember what the stats are. He was just whatever. He only played a couple games, and
I
going
mean,
into
yeah, he
his
was actually okay, but
then going into his sophomore season, he did better, but he was still really kind of mid, but showed
and like,
flashes.
but then yeah, like this
And
season, he really took a step up in passing.
he didn't take a step. He took a fucking leap.
Yeah, well, yeah,
And almost did. Yeah, he when Jalen Hurts started had one loss.
yeah.
Yeah, one loss that broke their undefeated record, which I think was good for them because it just erased that standard,
And
that
that loss
expectation.
wasn't even his fault.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. But that loss was good because it erased that expectation. I think it took a lot of pressure off the Eagles, and in the end, they
Yep.
made it to the Super Bowl. Didn't win, came very close, but still.
Happens. I
But
mean,
yeah,
and he would have been right up, still in the MVP race if he didn't get injured and miss those 2 games.
chances are if he didn't miss those 2 games, he could have made it. I don't know.
Might have won it, yeah.
But yeah, so that deal, the contract extension, really set the bar for future quarterbacks, young quarterbacks. We just talked about Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, like we mentioned. The Bengals should pay Burrow. He's taken
Oh, they
them
have to, yeah.
back-to-back AFC championships, one Super Bowl appearance. It's a matter. I think this next season is their season. Honestly,
Yeah.
one of these this next few years.
I mean, they're definitely the second best team in the AFC.
I think they're the most dangerous team overall. That's the kind of team that when you see on your schedule, you should immediately be afraid of.
Are they really, though? Because
Yes. Absolutely. They had a rocky start last season, but once they got their shit together, they had the cruise control on through the AFC Championship, where the only thing for the most part that screwed them over was that unnecessary roughness call. They were that close to getting to a back-to-back Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, but then you lose both of your starting safeties. Lose
They,
starting tight end Hayden
okay,
Hurst. You
when
lose
you're right there. I, I
second.
by
You
the
lose
end,
some your second string running back when Mixon could get suspended. I don't know if he will though, but
I no, you're right. I would say in response to
oh,
that,
and then Jonah Williams is requesting a trade. One of their O linemen.
you lost Bates. Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, they brought in Orlando Brown.
by the end of last season, I considered them the most dangerous team. They manhandled the Bills in the divisional round.
Oh yeah,
Like that was a routing. And they have lost a lot of key players, especially on that defense, and their offensive line is still extremely questionable. Burr is still getting absolutely sat on in the backfield. But depending on their draft and their like remainder of free agency, which there's not really anything else that's game changing there at this point. Depending on their draft, they could be, I would say, the most dangerous team.
oh yeah.
Up,
I mean,
up.
I could agree with that. Yeah,
I mean, if you got them, you've got the Chiefs are there. They just proved that they can win the Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill. They don't need.
but they have Patrick Mahomes, and Joe
They got
Burrow
Mahomes.
isn't Patrick Mahomes. Sorry.
Mahomes is in
So
his
all the
own.
people who think they can be compared, no, they can't.
Mahomes is in a league of his own, and he
Yeah,
absolutely. I know there's a.
it's a big gap. It is a big gap between
I
them.
know there's. I hate all the media hype around Patrick Mahomes. The NFL absolutely sucks his cock, licks his shoes, whatever. But he does deserve the praise. He's
Yeah,
got 2 rings, like Pro Bowls, like every season of his career, and like he is that guy. He really
yeah, and he's
is
breaking every record. He's on track to break every record that he
breaking all the
hasn't broken.
records.
So yeah,
He's on track. He is genuinely making the goat debate interesting between him and Tom Brady. And
yep,
as long as he's
already,
winning
and he's
rings,
only
and
28 years old,
he is still young.
and he's
He's still
already
got
in that
years.
conversation.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think of Justin Herbert? While we're on this topic,
Man, I love Justin Herbert. I love the way he throws the ball. I like how he plays the game, but he is just stuck in a shitty situation on the Chargers.
here's the thing.
It's
Going
every
into
year the Chargers do the same thing.
oh, what's that?
They choke, they fucking bring in these big money players who can't fucking make plays. They fucking and yeah, you see what happened in Jacksonville. See what
Oh
happened last
man.
season against Las
Oh,
Vegas.
you brought up the Jacksonville game. I
And
was.
then with Philip Rivers before that, they had many times where they did it.
I mean,
So
how many AFC Championship appearances did they have under Philip Rivers? Like they had a
I
couple,
don't
didn't
think
they?
they made. I
They
don't think
definitely
that
made it.
they had a lot of. I don't remember how many AFC championships they made, but they made quite a few playoff runs, but they never make it past the second round usually.
The Chargers is like one of those teams I really like. I really want to see get a ring.
I feel like
And Herbert is
yeah,
like
he's only been in one AFC championship.
oh, just one. This is 2007
2007 season
Patriots,
against the Patriots. Yep.
and they got that was their undefeated season.
0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, and that was their undefeated season. The Patriots until
Oh
Eli
yeah,
Manning
their undefeated season.
undefeated. Yeah, no, and Herbert's one of my favorite
Don't give
quarterbacks.
them
But
nothing.
yeah, yeah, Herbert is in the. I don't know how Staley is still there, especially after that Jacksonville game.
I mean, he
Like
just hasn't had enough success in his career yet to really warrant a payday like Hurts or Lamar or Burrow. But I mean, he's gonna be
he
one of those
just
top paid guys. Like,
he just got his overall win loss ratio to like positive.
yeah, but it's not his fault.
It's not his
Like,
fault.
he was literally stuck with Joe Lombardi as his offensive coordinator the last 2 3 years.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, maybe Kellen Moore should fix that. Hopefully,
oh, I'm excited to see him with Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore is
I want to see him
changer.
fucking throwing up that deep ball. I
Well,
want to see Keenan Allen making plays again now that he's all healthy.
I think that's enough talk about. Technically, that was all about Jalen Hurts trade, how it set the standard for quarterbacks and whatnot, and what it means for the future of just the NFL in general. It's huge news. At this point, it was like a week ago. We had to talk about this a few days ago, but things happen. But I think moving on.
Good move, Howie. Keep cooking.
Fuck the Eagles. Let's move on. I think we'll use this as our segue into draft topic. Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
So
where's he going? Is he staying in San Fran?
So here's Ian Rappaport's tweet about it from a few days ago. 49ers received inquiries from several teams looking into a potential trade for the former number 3 pick. So sounds like a couple teams might want Trey Lance. What do you think of that?
I mean, there's probably a few teams interested, but are the 49ers interested in trading him? Because
the question,
like, I mean, you got Brock Purdy.
I think the question is he worth trading? Is he? Here's
for how much they gave up for him.
They gave up so much for so little, but like it's not his fault. He's like his first season, he only had like a couple of games where he started, and he was fine, and he showed flashes.
Should have never even really been taken that high, honestly, because like he never even started a full season in college.
Yeah, he hasn't started a full season in the NFL either. This past season, he was their starter going into day one. Lost to the Bears in that monsoon game.
Oh, he started. Well, he started one season in college, and then that's all. And then he played like 3 other games outside of that.
Okay.
2.
But yeah, and he's just been like not used or just injured all of his career. What was it, an ACL or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
ACL.
Huge. And so I kind of wonder, like, I think leaving this the last season for the 49ers was so interesting, you know.
It was, yeah.
I would consider them by the end of going back to what I was saying about the most dangerous team, end of last season. If not the Bengals, I'd say the Niners were that other team where you see them on your schedule and it's like, fuck, you know.
Yep.
I mean, I certainly thought that when I realized we were playing them in the divisional round, because I had flashbacks to the season before that, and somehow we topped that. But whatever.
I saw it coming from a mile away.
Ezekiel Elliott playing center is
oh my god, it was glorious. It was glorious. It was even, well, no, I don't think anything beats the fucking time running out. Not being able to spike the ball in time.
Yeah, when we were literally we were trucking down the field, like actually getting first downs, running it out of bounds, and then we decide let's do a draw.
Yeah, I don't think anything beats that. That is one of the greatest fucking.
But I will say, Ezekiel Elliott getting absolutely railed on that snap was hilarious.
I don't know whose idea that was.
I don't know either.
And then Dak Prescott didn't even make the play right either. He threw the ball way too high, so the receiver had to jump up to get it.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, 49ers, I think the question at the end of the season was who's going to be their quarterback going forward, because Brock Purdy started most of that season in the end, or at least like half of it. Ended up being kind of a goat, honestly.
Yeah.
Not many interceptions. And I think the biggest reason people loved him so much is because he was Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last pick of that draft. Like, he was
he definitely shouldn't have been the last pick of the draft. Like, he's better than that.
They picked up a hidden dev trait on the last pick somehow.
Now, could it have been a fluke? Could it have been just Kyle Shanahan's system?
I mean, the scheming is very quarterback friendly for sure.
But I think he's definitely earned the starting job.
I think so. I think the end of the season, he took them to the NFC Championship. Here's what it comes. I think here's what it comes down. Obviously, he got injured right at the start. The Eagles ended up routing them. But I think here's what it comes down to. Maybe it is a fluke. Maybe the scheme is super quarterback friendly. One way or another, he held his ground. He kept things under control. And I think for that reason he impressed. like he stayed cool. You know, like
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
didn't
really
panic.
make any huge mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that. He was like he was the best rookie quarterback.
Yeah, it's like
He was better than Kenny Pickett, honestly.
Kenny Pickett by the end of the season was starting to come into his own as well.
Yeah,
I'm excited for the
I don't
Steelers
know.
going forward.
That's a different topic to talk about to
Yeah,
get
for sure.
into, but
Yeah, that's for another time. But yeah, so who do you
I don't know.
think?
They brought in Sam Darnold too, so
I think that's for
that.
depth.
But I
Maybe a bit of
mean,
competition, but
they aren't going to keep a third quarterback for that much money. They would just keep a practice squad guy. But so that makes me think somebody's getting moved.
yeah.
Now it
Uh,
might not be during the draft. It could be after the draft. It could be during the season. I could actually see a mid-season trade, or maybe draft a trade team like the Vikings or
so
Titans,
on
maybe,
that note,
or the Buccaneers.
who do you think would be a good fit for Lance? And
I definitely like the Vikings.
this is assuming he becomes their starting quarterback because why would you trade for him otherwise? You know, I mean the Vikings. That's really interesting. Trey Lance has shown that he can throw some pretty nice bombs,
Because
and like
they're not going to
honestly,
be bad enough to get a top pick next season.
no, but like
And
the,
Kirk Cousins only getting older, and this is his last year on his contract, so he's going to want more big money.
the idea of Lance throwing deep to Jefferson does intrigue me.
Yeah, if he can get that accuracy back, back together, and of course learn the playbook. But I think that system that O'Connell uses is very friendly. It's similar, to the McVay system. A lot of under center, get those power runs going. Then you're getting that play action, throwing it deep. Then yeah, you got Jefferson. If they can maybe draft another wide receiver too, get another good deep threat on the outside.
Yeah. What about I know there's a lot of rumors that it could be the Texans. Maybe. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean he has those ties. D'Amico Ryans was with San Fran for a few years there, but I don't know. I think it would probably be cheaper.
I think this is another conversation that we can use for mock draft a little bit here because
Yeah,
that's a whole other thing there.
I just don't see that really. I don't know.
I like the idea of like Texans jersey and got Lance, but like honestly, Lance could look. He has a cool name. It could look good on any jersey. So
I don't think he's a fit there, but
I don't know.
if they could get him maybe for like a second and third, not for a first round pick for them, but maybe for like a second and third package or something.
Maybe
Now Vikings, I would do like what's the Vikings pick 20
26,
23?
23.
See, if I was Vikings GM, I would maybe trade 23 for Lance.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Well, I think that's enough about Trey Lance. That's definitely intriguing there. Just because he's like one of those players that could be good, but we don't really know. So any trade for him is kind of just a wager for any team, you know?
Yeah,
I don't think the 49ers really lose
especially
in that
coming off
situation.
ATL too.
Yeah, I don't think the Niners really lose in that situation. Um,
They just at least try to recoup something.
yeah, and I think for right now, Brock Purdy is their guy. Hopefully, he is their guy for the long run. The Niners, I think, are one franchise quarterback away from being actual genuine contenders
Yeah,
again. Yeah. Anything else on Trey Lance you'd like to say? I don't think there's.
not really right now. I have to see how the training camp battle goes, or if Brock Purdy is even ready by then, because we could see Trey Lance maybe starting the first couple weeks of the season, or Sam Darnold. Maybe they'll start Trey Lance, get him some reps so
They
teams can see, shop him around.
we could end up seeing someone like Darnold starting under center for the first few weeks of the season, and then maybe they won't use him quite as much for the passing game. You might end up seeing like McCaffrey putting up some big numbers early on.
Yeah.
Basically, like what we expected and was happening for a while with Nick Chubb and the Browns. I mean, I was predicting Nick Chubb to be the rushing leader last season just because they wouldn't have Watson for the first several games,
And
and he
kind of had a
was
slog towards the
he was
mid-season
leading.
and end of season,
I
though.
was close, and then they stopped using him. He kind of became
Yeah.
like trash by the end of the
Started
season. But
after the trade deadline, they started using Kareem Hunt more, and it kind of, man, that sucked for me because I had him in fantasy.
all right, let's move on to the draft. Not the mock draft, but just discussing a bit of the draft. We got a few notes here. Uh, Obviously, with any draft, but especially right now because it's so just interesting. It's big debate going on.
And as it gets closer, so many more of these reports, you don't know what's
Yeah.
real and
So,
what's not.
yeah. So I think biggest question is who's the number one pick? What do you think?
I think it's Bryce Young.
You think it's Bryce Young?
Yeah. I think he's easily the best quarterback of the draft. I mean, he has those height and weight concerns, but I mean, you watch his tape, you don't have problems seeing over the middle of the field. He's able to escape pressure pretty good. He don't take a lot of hits or sacks. And I don't know, maybe if he can gain like 10 pounds might be a bit nicer, but honestly, yeah, I think he's a little bit a tier above the other ones. Maybe CJ Stroud is closer than the others, but
If you ask me two
Bryce
or three
Young
weeks,
in the mental aspect and just mobility aspect, he's way better.
if you asked me 2 or 3 weeks ago, I would have said C.J. Stroud absolutely. But obviously, a lot more has come out since then, and I watched a bit more of Bryce Young's game, and just, like I'm kind of entranced, honestly. I've seen a couple clips of him just like throwing ridiculous passes. There's one at
Yeah,
like the
he's got the right decision making.
There's a clip of him at like the combine or pro day or whatever it was. He's like running sideways, like sidestepping, and like throws like a deep bomb to his receiver. Obviously, he's not like being rushed or anything. It's training,
Yeah.
but just making that pass and that accuracy while on the run sideways,
I
like
mean, we've
that.
seen Zach Wilson do that too, and lots of
But
quarterbacks in
like,
the
if you
combine.
could do that in game though, like
I mean, we've kind of seen him do that in games, as opposed to CJ Stroud, who really didn't use a lot of his mobility side up until really that Georgia game.
yeah, I mean,
Or-
yeah,
Yeah.
and obviously the Panthers are supposedly based on reports, Bryce Young is the favorite in Carolina right now. Just like odds and all that.
Yeah. And then going into that, well, if we're talking about odds, just coming out, what, today or yesterday, Will Levis now betting favorite to be the number 2 overall pick.
Will Levis says,
By
I I think I think Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud are still like the top two quarterback in this
yeah.
draft. I think Bryce Young is probably more likely to be successful than Stroud. But I've really come around on Will Levis the past week or two. I I think he is better than Anthony Richardson. Flame
Yeah, I
me all
think
you
so
want,
too.
people, but I'm not sold on Richardson. He's absolutely overrated. He just does.
I think
I don't know if he deserves to be a first round pick.
I think you could make an argument for both Levis and Richardson to fall into
Absolutely.
the second or third rounds,
Oh, okay. Really?
but definitely Richardson more likely. But I could
Levis
definitely see Levis sliding maybe to the mid teens or 20s or maybe early second round. Like Colts are at like pick 35 or something. I could see him
Levis
falling there
kind of gives
maybe.
me like Mac Jones vibes or something, where he had like a pretty solid rookie season with the Patriots, but like
Oh yeah, he made
I
the
don't
Pro
know,
Bowl.
he made the Pro Bowl. He hasn't had
I
the
don't know. I
best.
think he wasn't that flashy in his rookie season. Like he put up some good numbers, but like it really
He was being compared to like Tom Brady's rookie season. It's like, oh wow,
he
all the
didn't really
numbers
look
are.
amazing.
They were like, oh wow, all the numbers are identical. He's the next Tom Brady for the Patriots. I'm looking at it. I'm like,
No,
it's just kind of whatever.
not
Like,
happening.
just kind of average, slightly above average numbers.
I I watched I watch Mac Jones. I see nothing special about him.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean he got benched a few times this past season, so
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think
yeah.
he's
Fucking Bailey Zappi outplayed him parts of
Bailey
last season.
Zappi is my guy.
Yeah.
Zappi is amazing. Uh, Here's something we got written down. Definitely a question. There's an interesting point of conversation over the draft is Jalen Carter. Where do you think he's going to fall? Because for a while he was a potential number one pick. Uh, he's one of the top talents, but there's a lot of
He
questions
might be
surrounding him.
the top talent in the draft, but yeah, the character concerns with all that stuff with the car accident. I'm not going to get into that, but like, all that off the field stuff and how that might take a mental toll on him, and then him not showing up to his pro day out of shape. Well, he showed up to his pro day out of shape, and then he couldn't even finish all the drills. He was so gassed. So that just shows he wasn't. I don't know.
Maybe it
It's
was
a
a
red
fluke.
flag, definitely,
Maybe he's a fluke just for
but
pro day. Who knows?
I don't. I don't think he's falling out of the top 10 for sure. I think he'll probably fall to like
I think he's
the
based.
Seahawks
I think
or the Lions. I don't think he falls past them.
it's based on what we've seen from him and like compared to other players, he is better than all of the other players.
I think he's the best talent in the draft, like
I mean, it's between him
in
and like
terms of all the players.
Will Anderson.
I think he's way better than Will Anderson.
You think so?
I think Will Anderson's a little overrated, but honestly, this whole draft class is kind of weak.
It's a
So you're kind
strange
of
draft
just
class. Like the first like five, like top five are like the elite players, potentially
so.
elite
But I
players.
think Jalen Carter is definitely out of all the top 10 people has the highest chance of like being a generational type player.
Okay, all right.
Now that off the field stuff, it's honestly a coin flip at this point. Will he put that behind him and actually, develop well, or is that gonna sit on him for the rest of his time in the league and then not go anywhere? Either way, I think the Seahawks or Lions take him.
Okay, all right. We'll get to that with the mock draft. Um, we might want to hurry it up just a little bit, but it's okay. Any running backs in the first round? What do you think? Obviously, you got Bijan Robinson is like the one of the best talents in the draft.
Probably Robinson and Gibbs, the top two.
I haven't seen much footage of Gibbs, but I've seen him kind of.
He's definitely a solid back. He could go in the first round too. I think Bijan Robinson definitely has the highest chance of going the highest in the first round. Then maybe, like think Jameer Gibbs is an option for the Eagles or another team towards like the late 20s. But definitely Bijan Robinson is going to be interesting. I have no clue where he's going to go, honestly. He could go top 10 or he could fall
I'm
to the
curious if
lower
maybe
part of the first round.
I almost wonder if he'll fall to the second round.
It could happen, but
I mean,
he's honestly one of the top players in this draft in terms of talent too. It's just that he's a running back.
he is a running back, and generally you
So
don't want to take a running
there's
back in the first round.
it's not as much value
That's
as a
Ezekiel Elliott.
position like O line or quarterback, or D line. But like
Yeah.
he definitely is one of the top players in this draft. It's just yeah, he's running back. Who the fuck knows?
What wide receiver landing spots? What do you think?
I don't think the Eagles should take him at 10.
I don't think so. I'm going to move on from running backs, wide receivers. We've got a lot of interesting prospects this draft. No one that's really mind blowing. I personally love Jackson Smith and Jigba out of Ohio State, but a lot of the other guys just seem kind of fine, good.
Yeah, like
But like,
Jackson's definitely the best wide receiver in this class, but he isn't really even amazing. Like he's a good receiver,
I mean,
but I don't
he was the top
can't gonna be a true outside threat in the
he
NFL.
was the top receiver for a stacked Ohio State getting thrown to by C.J. Stroud. Of course, you're going to look really good, and I don't think that should discredit him at all. He's definitely a really solid not running back, receiver.
And then yeah, he missed most of last season too.
Did he?
So
I mean, he still put up really big numbers. Uh, I don't think he's not like wide receiver one caliber by any means, but I think he'd be really a slot receiver for some team somewhere. But I don't know. What do you think?
Jackson, I don't think Jackson will fall out of maybe. I mean, he might fall to the 20s. That's probably as far as he goes, though.
He
The
should
other
be
ones,
first round. The other ones are
yeah,
it's a
he's
complete toss up. I've seen a lot of mock drafts having a lot of different receivers in the first round. I've seen like Zay Flowers go pretty high. I've seen Quentin Johnson go above Jackson, which
I
is
like
weird.
Zay Flowers. I don't get the hype on Quentin Johnson. Like he's built like really nice, but I don't know. I don't really
I
see
think he'd be
a lot
solid.
of
I think they'd
special.
all be solid, but like just solid
Yeah,
for the most part.
but I think Jackson and Addison and Flowers are definitely the top receivers here.
Sure. Um, looking at our other
But like
notes
in
and
terms of teams contending for him, maybe like Titans, Texans, Patriots, maybe the
for
Packers
who?
for like Jackson's or even the other receivers,
My
like maybe the Seahawks.
my dream situation would be C.J. Stroud to the Texans, and then they pick Njigba up at 12, so that
That
you
would
have
be a
that
nice
tandem.
pairing,
Because
but I think they have bigger
because
needs.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, like you probably have better players sitting there at 12 instead of taking a
Yeah,
receiver who isn't really going to be they need an outside threat.
they need
They
a
just lost
lot of
Brandon
pieces,
Cooks.
but they're
Well, yeah.
they're on the cusp of something. But we'll get to that. I don't think there's much more really here we could talk about. I think we can get into the actual
Yeah, I'd
draft.
say let's get into it.
Um, let me see. Could you quickly send me
This
uh
website.
yeah, the mock draft thing because I was not prepared enough apparently for this and that's okay. All right, so moving on now. This is kind of what we've been waiting for this first episode is our mock draft. So, it is currently I guess technically Monday morning, a little after midnight, April 24th. The NFL draft is this weekend on Thursday night, is it?
Yep, Thursday
First
night,
round?
first round.
Yeah. Thursday night, first round. We wanted to get this in beforehand and then see how things play out. So, first pick is going to be the Carolina Panthers because they had that huge blockbuster trade with the Chicago Bears for the number one pick. Gave up a lot, including their star receiver, DJ Moore, to trade up
Multiple
for,
firsts.
yeah, a ton. To probably more than likely pick up a quarterback. I mean, why else would you do that?
And probably going to be Bryce Young.
We had this discussion earlier. More than likely, going to be Bryce Young going to the Carolina Panthers. I was saying, if you asked me a couple weeks ago, I would have said C.J. Stroud. Things have changed since then. We had this whole conversation not too long ago. I don't think there's much more we can go on about this. We already discussed this.
Yeah, he's clearly the best quarterback of the draft, and that's what the Panthers traded up for in the first place. They got to take him.
Yeah, so go ahead and add Bryce Young to the board. First overall. We will react to this not next week, this weekend.
And now this
I'm
is where it
excited.
gets tricky. Number 2, 3, and
Number
4.
two. 1 week ago, we would have said number two pick, Texans. We would have said whoever's left between C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. Since then, a lot has come out. Obviously, we went into Trey Lance a little bit earlier. Potential trading or for him, maybe the Texans. Beyond Trey Lance, though, there's been a lot of potential, like just rumors of the Texans trading away that number two pick. What are your thoughts there?
I think there's like maybe Bryce Young is like their top guy on the board, and they don't grade CJ as high as him or the others, but I don't know. They like what do they do if they don't take a quarterback here? Like, do they draft one at 12? Like someone like Will Levis, if he falls to 12, they take him there, take a defensive player at 2, or they trade out of 2,
Yeah, keep in
like with
mind.
the Raiders,
Got to keep in mind their draft
or
positions because they have the number one pick. Sorry, no, sorry, not the number one pick. They wish. Lovey Smith made sure that didn't happen. Uh,
the GOAT.
the goat. Number two pick, the number 12 pick, only 10 picks later from that Deshaun Watson trade. So that's pretty huge. And they also have the, I believe, the number 33 pick as well.
Yep.
That's really solid. Obviously, you can get a lot out of those first 33 picks. What do you think the most likely scenario is? Because I know you were saying you had a lot of, you were thinking about this all day, right?
Yeah, man. I feel like they just have to take CJ Stroud if he's there, or Bryce Young if he's there. But
I think that
I
comes
mean,
down to do they want to hold out another season and hope that the next quarterback class is good enough for them? Do they want to
the
tank
next
another
quarterback
season?
class is probably better than this one, but
I think it better in terms of quantity of quality, maybe if
I
that
mean, it
makes
has
sense.
better talent too. Like, well, maybe a few of them,
I mean,
anyways. But
I mean, I think main guy right now is
oh
Caleb
yeah, it's
Williams.
Caleb.
I
Got
would
Caleb
love.
Williams. Then you got like Drake May, Bo Nix, and then everyone else.
I think the question comes down to do they want to do another tank, which they probably should because I they don't quite have the pieces yet. Even with
I
this
mean, they're probably
draft, I'm
not
not
going to
sure.
be great next year. Maybe they'll win 5 or 6 games, but
I
I mean,
think
I
I
don't think
think
they're
that's
trying to be great next year.
I think they're right now they're just obviously they're in rebuild mode. I think they're just trying to get the pieces in place.
Keep stacking those young players.
I
Yeah.
think in a couple of years they could really actually be genuine playoff contenders.
Oh yeah. But in terms of what they do, the most likely outcome, I'm just gonna have to say they take CJ
I think
Stroud.
you just take Stroud.
I
I
mean,
don't see
they
Stroud dropping out of the top five.
I
Honestly,
mean, because if they don't take CJ Stroud, then either someone's going to jump the Colts and trade with the Cardinals to get him, or the Colts are going to take him either by taking him at 4 or trading up with the Cardinals so
yeah,
nobody jumps them.
yeah. So I mean, I think if they don't trade away that pick, it probably just takes Stroud because why wouldn't you do that?
I think
Davis,
there's a higher chance of the Cardinals trading out than the Texans.
yeah, and let's be real, Davis Mills is not the guy. Davis Mills sucks. They don't have anyone else. Who they
Yeah.
just picked someone up, didn't they? Who was it?
Case Keenum?
Case was it Case Keenum?
They brought him back, I didn't.
I think they signed Case Keenum off of the
Yep.
Bills, off the Bills, or he was probably a free agent. But
He used to play for the Texans like in
really,
2014.
I do
He
not
was
remember that.
actually his first team was with the Texans, and then he played with them again,
Huh.
and then now he's playing with them for a third time.
The more you know. So I think for right now, assuming they don't trade, they take CJ Stroud. I already got it locked in here on the board, so I think we should move on.
Cardinals, this is where I think they would most likely trade if a team wants to jump the Colts for quarterback. But man, I don't think it Will Levis or Richardson are worth how much it would cost to trade up there. So I'm gonna say probably they just roll with taking a defensive player. I don't know. What do you think?
Um, they have no reason to have a pick that high. I mean, as long as you're staying above the Hawks or like the Lions or something, but or even the Raiders. But like if you're having to pick that high, like you probably want like a quarterback or something. They don't need a quarterback. Obviously, I guess they got Kyler Murray if he's healthy and he's should be good, but I don't
I mean,
know.
there's still a reason to have a high pick if there's a really good defensive player, but like,
Which there
are
are.
these, are there any here right now that would be worth over the future draft capital they could get that they probably really need?
I I think. Do you think someone trades for this position, this pick, or no? Because I think if the Texans aren't trading, then there's no reason for the Colts to try and trade up just to get a quarterback. Because there's no way the Cardinals are going to
I
pick up.
think it's gonna depend if the Texans trade out.
All right, you know what? You know what? Screw it. Hendon Hooker goes to the Cardinals.
Oh my god, that would break the draft.
That would be really funny, actually. I think they probably just take
Anderson.
Anderson. You think Anderson?
I would just lock that in for now. Yeah, like I don't really know what else.
JJ Watt replacement.
Yeah,
There you go.
they need D line at like every position.
All right, we're locked in for Will Anderson Jr. to
Or,
Arizona. He's gonna wear one of those shitty uniforms. Moving on, number 4 pick, Indianapolis Colts. What do you think about the Colts?
I'm kind of leaning towards like maybe no quarterback here.
You think so? Who are they rolling with right now?
They'd signed Gardner Minshew.
Yes. All right. All right. So they make the playoffs with Gardner Minshew. They're good there.
I mean, but I could like see them maybe like pass like taking like maybe someone like
Hendon
Tyree
Hooker.
Wilson instead,
Hendon Hooker.
and then hoping someone falls to the 35th pick. Like I could, that Levis or Richardson could fall 35th, and then yeah, you might have someone like Hendon Hooker there that you could draft and develop, or go deeper into the second or third round, get someone like Dorian Thompson Robinson.
Maybe. What do they need the most right now? That's my question.
Probably edge rusher or corner.
They did just lose Stephon Gilmore to the Cowboys.
Yeah. Could see maybe Gonzalez being a pick for them, or Devin Witt. Probably Gonzalez or Tyree Wilson if they don't take quarterback.
I think I'm
Tough,
I'm between either. I think with the quarterback thing is like most of the other teams in the first round don't really need to draft a quarterback. I mean, who is there? Like the Raiders don't need to draft one really. Not yet, I don't think. Maybe next draft. But Jimmy G will do just fine for him right now. Seahawks could, but they're like the exact same situation. They just signed Geno Smith to a big deal. It doesn't make any sense to draft your like future quarterback. Like, what's the point of drafting Richardson or Levis right now?
Yeah, like, and they aren't even really that great. Like, well, maybe like to develop them, but like not that high. Maybe like in later rounds.
I don't think you don't sign Geno Smith or Jimmy G to 3-year deals or whatever it is.
I mean, both the deals have outs like after the first 1 or 2 years, but like still like, you know, I think they're in a better position to just get a good defensive player, and then maybe in the later rounds get someone to develop, or get someone next year to develop.
So okay, so yeah, I'm between probably Tyree Wilson or Christian Gonzalez. What do you think? Do they want an edge rusher or a corner?
Or do they just take Levis?
I don't know. The Titans are sitting at 11 as well.
And I could see him going to the Raiders too, or
I don't think the Raiders take a quarterback right now. It's not what they need.
I mean, they probably would be better off taking, but who the fuck knows with Josh McDaniels, man? And what's their GM's name? Ziegler, who's another guy from the Patriots.
I don't even know.
Fucking Josh McDipshit. Hate that guy.
He's
Anyways. Man.
I think I'm feeling Gonzalez. I'm leaning Gonzalez right now.
You know what? I like that.
Say fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Christian Gonzalez, number 4 pick, Indianapolis Colts. Seattle Seahawks, Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Jalen Carter, just lock it in.
Man, Detroit, do they take corner or edge? Because they got Tyree Wilson sitting there.
They need that
I could
secondary.
see the Raiders. I could see the Raiders taking corner, maybe Devin Witherspoon, or offensive tackle. Then you got the Lions, you could take edge or corner. So I think the corner they take is going to depend because Devin Witherspoon is clearly, the second best corner there.
Yeah, I mean, Gonzalez ain't there anymore.
I actually like Gonzalez to the Lions, but now he's gone. So
I would have done the same thing, but this is assuming the Colts don't take a quarterback or something.
Tyree
Do
Wilson is sitting here.
do they need an edge rusher right now?
I mean, they could use one. Well, they got James Houston. I mean, he's more of an outside linebacker type. Not really the stick your foot in the ground type of defensive end, but
Oh,
Tyree Wilson is that, and they could definitely use that on their D line. It always helps, and he is a good player.
hmm.
But do they value that more than a cornerback right now, especially with how ass their secondary was last season?
I think they
I think
need to improve that secondary. Honestly,
I think Witherspoon's probably going to be their best move there.
I think so too. At that point, like their offense was pretty much good to go. That defense, like what the worst defense in the league in points
Yeah,
allowed. Yeah. So I think they take a cornerback. I think they take Gonzalez if he's there. Otherwise, they take Witherspoon here at number 6 pick, and that leaves the Raiders number 7 with no solid corners really. I mean, they get just Deontay Banks later on, but I mean, you just no more Gonzalez or Witherspoon.
there's honestly a few appealing options here they could go. And I think either pick would be good. Like, you have Peter Skoronsky. I think he would be a solid pick for them. He seems like a Josh McDaniels kind of guy. Then you got Will Levis. It could happen. I don't know. But then you got Tyree Wilson. They could use another edge rusher. Chandler Jones is aging, and I don't even know why they traded for him. But be a nice guy to have on the other side of Max Crosby.
I think that okay, they need to beef up that defense. I think that defense gave up so many 17 plus point leads
Yeah.
last season. There's no reason they shouldn't go for a defensive player here. So Tyree Wilson's at the top of the board. Miles Murphy's there.
I like Tyree Wilson more than Miles Murphy for sure.
And Tyree Wilson going this late. I mean, pick 7, but I don't know.
And it kind of makes sense. I think Tyree Wilson's
Let's roll with Tyree Wilson for now.
probably the best defensive player available
All
for
right.
them.
We'll go ahead and do that. Lock it in.
Falcons.
Number 8. Who's your quarterback right now?
Desmond Ritter.
So basically, what you're saying is Will Levis to the Falcons. No?
They've already been saying that they're going to roll with Ritter, and I honestly believe that. Unless they can get a blockbuster trade going or something, but I don't think they're going to waste that pick on Levis. I think they'd rather take
like tackle.
No, I mean their O line is they have pretty good tackles.
I mean, looking at a lot of these.
I mean, like Miles Murphy, Nolan Smith. Honestly, Nolan Smith is probably the best defensive guy on the board.
Nolan
and
Smith.
They need an edge rusher.
The idea of Nolan Smith, something about that just like clicks. I don't know why.
I really want him to follow the Eagles, but man, he's probably the best player available for the Falcons. And yeah, they need an edge rusher.
Miles
they
Murphy.
Never are able to hit on one.
Well, Miles Murphy though.
I don't think he's as good as Nolan Smith.
But what do the Falcons think?
I don't know, like he's a Georgia guy too, so it makes sense, I guess. I don't know. I think
Your call.
I think Nolan Smith is probably the best player available. Maybe Lucas Van Ness, but I think he's overrated.
Okay, we'll just roll with
Definitely
Nolan
don't
Smith.
think
I
it's
think.
Miles Murphy. But yeah, let's.
It's gonna be like a kind of strange stretch at the draft,
Yeah,
I think.
sure.
Chicago Bears.
I think it's or not Broderick. Paris Johnson
Rich
Jr.
Johnson. I was thinking of tackle there. So
Need to protect Justin Fields, and he's probably the best O lineman in the draft in terms of talent. Well, maybe in terms of flexibility. I mean, Peter Skoronsky, he probably doesn't have as high of a ceiling, but he might be a better day one starter. But I think Paris Johnson, overall, he'll be a better player. He'd be great for that Bears O line.
all right. This is you're gonna be the expert here for Eagles. What do they need right now?
Well, Christian Gonzalez is gone. Nolan Smith is gone. Harris Johnson's gone. Tyree Wilson's gone. So now who do we take? Oronsky, maybe. Develop him. Take Lane Johnson's place. Or maybe, I don't know. Can he play guard? Probably not. Darnell Wright, I kind of like him. Or Broderick Jones. Now, I've been watching a lot of Broderick Jones. I think he's a fucking monster. I think he has potentially a really high ceiling if he's developed right, and we have the best O line coach in the league. But I don't think he's gonna be taken at 10. And then you got people saying we should take Bijan Robinson. I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, I think he's a
I
good
don't think
player.
you guys
I
need
think I
to
don't
take a
think we
running
need
back.
him. Yeah, like we have a good we signed Rashad Penny. We have Kenneth Gainwell. We never even really use a one running back. Anyways, we're always
And
rotating
on
them.
top of that, like it's just because the offensive line is already good enough to make
Yeah,
those
we
holes
can
for the
make any
backs.
running back look good. I would be better. I would rather take a running back at 30 if we take one in the first round.
So in
But
that case,
and you have Lucas Van Ness. I don't really like him. Miles Murphy, maybe. I don't know. At that point, with all the
what about
players I like off the board, I would rather trade out of this pick.
Brian Branch
But
as safety?
I don't think he's worth 10th overall pick.
Alright.
Like maybe if we traded like with the Patriots or like with the Titans. Well, like if we traded with someone like the Patriots for like a mid-teens pick, or like maybe with the Lions or the Steelers, I could see us taking him there, but not at 10. My God, this is tough, honestly.
I'm gonna let you make the call because you're the Eagles expert here.
Because honestly, like we don't have huge holes. Like
I
we
really
still
don't.
have vets at most of the positions or young developing players. But Peter Skoronsky is still available. I like it. Why not develop
Skaronski,
him?
we'll lock it in. All right, we'll lock in
Have him
Skaronski.
take Johnson's place in a couple years.
All right,
Number 11.
Tennessee Titans. Is this Tannehill's last year?
Yep.
Contract.
Do they take? Is this where Will Levis falls?
Malik Willis ain't the guy. I know that.
Oh no. And I don't think they would take Anthony Richardson after taking Malik Willis.
I like the
I
idea
don't know.
of
I could
Levis
see Will
here,
Levis
but
falling for further, but I think even Will Levis falling out of the top 10. I don't know. I'm still 50-50 on it, but I think this is probably his most likely landing spot if he's still available here.
he's been.
I mean, they
He's,
could go Jackson too. I mean, they probably need an
mm,
offensive tackle too. Like their O line got decimated by injuries last season, and they
it's
just
true.
released Taylor Lewan, who was like one of their best offensive linemen, one of their best players, period, over the past few years. And do they go with someone like Broderick Jones or Darnell Wright?
Jones.
I've liked Darnell Wright to them.
I was thinking one of those two just now. Roger Jones is higher on the board, but I mean, what do you think?
I'm gonna say Levis.
You're just gonna go with Levis right now? I don't think as
I
many.
think it
If Levis doesn't
out
go
of the
now,
people left.
if Levis doesn't go now, I don't think he's gonna go until way later.
maybe to the Bucks or like
I think I like pick number 11
Vikings.
for Levis.
Yeah,
I think that's good. Texans number
because
12. Go ahead.
maybe if Skoronsky or Johnson were at 11, it would take them. But yeah, otherwise probably Levis if he's available.
I like it. So Texans at number 12. What do you think there? They got number 2 pick, CJ Stroud. What do they do now? I think it makes
There's
sense to pick up Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Jackson.
No, I was
I
actually
mean,
gonna
it
say
does make sense,
it
but
would. I was actually gonna say offensive tackle, help out Stroud a little bit.
I don't know, like
Actually, you know what they do
maybe
need?
or an edge rusher.
They do
Like
need a better D line. I know that much because I had to rebuild it in
need
Madden.
they need like maybe like someone like Miles Murphy or
Yeah.
uh Lucas Van Ness. I could see Lucas Van Ness going there. I think Traeger had him in his mock draft going there. Oh no, they actually have Will Traeger has Will Levis going to the Texans at 12.
Oh yeah.
PFF has Van Ness going to them at 12. Uh,
I forgot.
Daniel Jeremiah has Miles Murphy going to them at 12. Bucky Brooks has Jackson going to them at 12. Hmm.
Again, my dream situation: Smith and Jigba, CJ Stroud could happen. We've seen it before. The college quarterback receiver tandem works. Burrow, Chase, Carr and Adams. It works, but is that realistic right now?
I think they have a. I think maybe if it was a better wide receiver, but honestly, they're probably a better investment to get an edge rusher or,
I think their D line needs help. So I think
yeah, just like D line in general.
I think we
Maybe
go with
beef up the secondary more. But
their secondary's all right. I think we go with Murphy here. Murphy or Wright. So not sorry, not Wright.
if I just
Edge. Who's Edge? Miles Murphy. Van
I've
Ness.
honestly watched more of Lucas Van Ness. Like I've watched a little bit of Miles Murphy, but if I just like look at their stats right now, like Van Ness, 31 hurries, 9 sacks, 6 hits, and then we look at Van Ness, 31 hurries. I mean, pretty or Murphy has 21, 2, 7. Honestly, not that far off, but uh, I'll say Van Ness.
Van Ness. Okay, I was kind of leaning that way too. New York Jets.
We are not draft experts, by the way.
No, we're not.
Like,
We
there's
are.
probably people sitting and watching and laughing at us. Like, yeah, we are not draft experts. We are just doing this for fun.
We're just fans of shitty teams who just are just talking,
Yeah.
having fun. It's fun to imagine, you know. So the
Jets
Jets.
number 13.
This is where things should be interesting. Um,
I
because
don't think the Packers are getting this pick in a trade. No
I
way.
but do you think Rogers they actually finalized that deal?
They'll probably get it. They'll get it done on draft night.
Think they'll get it
Probably.
done on draft night? So what do you think happens
It'll.
to this
That's
pick
probably
then?
when it's. I don't. They aren't giving up this pick. No way. If they do give up a first, it'll be conditional, and it'll probably be like next year. They're definitely keeping this pick.
So this is assuming they pick up Aaron Rodgers. What do they draft?
O line for
O
sure.
line.
Need to
Okay.
keep him.
So Broderick
They need to
Jones.
beef that up. Keep him protected. Jones or Wright. I like Darnell Wright a lot, and I just was talking about. I love Broderick Jones. In terms of who's probably better to start on that Jets offense, if it has Rodgers, I mean, you maybe have someone like Osiris Torrance too. He's an interior O line, which is what they really need. Because like, where's he projected by everyone else right
Yeah,
now?
where is he projected? Oh, I see 39.
on there, but like in these other, um, Bucky Brooks has them taking Osiris Torrance. Um, EFF has them taking Broderick Jones. Gregor has him taking Broderick Jones. I don't know. I like Broderick Jones. Honestly, he
I
probably
think I'm
would
leaning
work
that.
pretty well there.
I was leaning Project Rose. So I think that fits. I'm gonna lock it
Yeah,
in.
I'll take that.
I'm gonna lock it in. I'm gonna move on. Number 14, New England Patriots.
Uh, all the top corners are gone.
They don't have really any receivers.
Do they take Bijan Robinson? Yeah. I don't know. That
What's
don't
his
seem like a
face is
Bill
okay. What's
Belichick
his
thing.
face is okay. Damien Harris.
They usually are good at just turning any old running back into a good one. They always just toss him to the curb after a few years, anyways, and get a new one.
Yeah, it's such a weird team to figure out.
And do they go O line?
All I know for
I
sure
mean,
is I would hate to see Smith and Jigba go here.
do they go Brian Branch here?
I mean, something
Or
about
do
that
they go
set's right.
Darnell Wright?
One of those two, something just feels right. I'm kind of leaning Brian Branch.
Hmm. Let me just see some here. Like, who's the they got at safety right now? Because they lost McCourty. They got Kyle Duggar, blah blah blah. Like, kind of just mid.
Just
Uh,
completely mid.
Brian Branch kind of makes sense. Maybe
Something about
for
that.
the Bucks too, but does he go this high? Like Brian Branch is a good player, but he does have some issues, and but he's probably the best safety in the draft.
I mean, next projected safety isn't until.
I don't know. I think probably some of his biggest issues are just effort on some plays.
I think we go with Brian Branch here. I'm gonna lock it in. Something I
You
think
know,
that
that's an
just
interesting pick. Sure, why not?
may as well.
It
Just
could happen.
may as well. We're only on 15.
Packers.
Packers. Packers.
Do
Packers.
they go offense or
Packers.
defense? I think I'm leaning defense.
Who's left defense? Miles Murphy's still up there
Miles Murphy,
because the cornerbacks are higher up on the board now.
Deontay Banks, maybe Emmanuel Forbes. Maybe I think edge rusher, maybe like probably Miles Murphy, honestly.
I think Miles Murphy has to go at this point. So I'm just gonna lock him in. I'm just gonna move on to Washington
We
Redskins.
are Commanders.
I'm not. I
uh,
can't believe that happened.
do they need to get an offensive like a playmaker like a tight end, or do they beef up that secondary even more, get some juice at corner like maybe Deontay Banks,
That defense is already kind of kicking, and that offense is a couple pieces away to really being.
or they could go O line. They need O line.
Starting over rights on the board. Uh, Anson Harrison's further down.
Hmm. I like Darnell Wright, maybe, or that's tough because I could see him going to Steelers too. But hmm, I think the Steelers pick is going to depend on who they take here.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
Washington, I think they need if they're going to be going with Sam Howell. I think they probably want to try and keep him protected, especially after we saw how horribly protected Carson Wentz was. I'm sure he just his style of play didn't help that. But their O line definitely needs a lot of work. I think Darnell Wright's the move
All
if
right.
they're going offense. I mean, they could go tight end too, but man, they already have so many weapons. They need to beef up that protection, man.
Yeah, so Darnell Wright locked in at 16. We'll move on to
And
17.
I think with Wright gone, I think the Steelers would take him. But if he's not there, they'd probably go like Joey Porter.
They need some cornerback help. You
They
think
need corner. Like they brought in Patrick Peterson, but he's old as fuck. He's a band aid.
All right, so you already said Joey Porter.
Yeah, I
All right,
like Joey Porter there.
I'll lock that in. We'll speed it up a little bit. Back to the Lions. Got another pick here. This is their actual
Lions.
pick. Because the other one was a trade.
They have a lot of options here.
Yeah.
They've already gone with Witherspoon, so they don't need to take a secondary. They could go
It's
defense, but
Isaiah Foskey on edge maybe.
could take a
Um,
tight end.
who do they have right now? They don't really have one, do they?
Like I like Brock Wright, the guy that they do have, but like I don't think he's really a top tight end. He could become one,
What
but
Dalton Kincaid?
yeah, Dalton Kincaid, Michael Mayer, or Darnell Washington. I think all three of those guys. It's going to be a toss up who goes first.
I think. I feel like Kincaid would fit here. Something about Goff throwing to Kincaid just sounds right. Feels
Seems
right.
like seems like a Dan Campbell kind of player too.
I would love for Kincaid to go to Dallas, but I don't know. So I
Get
think
you
he'd
another
fit here.
Dalton tight end.
Yeah, exactly. I think Kincaid kind of just works here though.
If they could they go D line like Elijah Cansey, he's definitely moving up on the draft boards.
Hmm. Can't see, huh?
I don't know, but now Jamison Williams suspended for the first 6 games of the season.
Oh, that's right.
That's a
That
big
is big.
offensive weapon for them that they're losing. I mean, they already were without him for most of last season, but
Smith and Jigba on the
no,
board.
I wouldn't think they'd take him.
Quentin Johnson.
I don't think they would take a receiver
I
at
don't think
all.
so.
I think if they go like an offensive playmaker, they go tight end.
I say we go Kincaid.
Otherwise, maybe Bijan Robinson.
I thought
Like,
about that.
man,
I don't know.
if they just swing and take him, just toss him in that offense, why not, man?
I mean, at this point, who else would he be? Could he be going
Like, he's
to?
probably the best player on the board at this point.
Here's what happens. Okay, here we go. Right now, Kincaid goes to the Lions. We get through the Bucks and Seahawks, and Bijan Robinson goes to LA.
And then they trade Eckler on draft night.
Yeah, or something like that.
Honestly, man, I don't know. Like,
I think we say
would they
fuck it.
do that when they need to possibly get defense or like O line beef up or it's definitely an interesting scenario. I didn't think of that before.
Because Bijan Robinson to the Chargers is like that could
Oh no,
work.
I think I don't know, that does sound awesome. You know what? Let's go with Kincaid for Lions for now.
I'm telling you.
Or
I locked in Kincaid myself already, so I don't know about you.
yeah,
I think Kincaid fits in the Lions. I think it
he's
works.
definitely a fit. It's just as to his value there, but man, yeah.
Why are we sitting so long on the Lions?
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers.
Do they go quarterback to
Anthony
develop,
Richardson.
or
Actually, that's an interesting.
I don't like that.
I don't know though. Bijan, Smith, and Jigba. They could get a receiver. I mean, Mike Evans is still
Anton
kicking.
Harrison, maybe Osiris Torrance, maybe Deontay Banks.
Yeah, I was just looking at how's their secondary.
I mean, they got some pieces there, but they need to add someone.
They need a. Was it their O line that got decimated?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they could be in the running for Anton Harrison, but
Pretty high pick. Or
yeah,
or like
I don't know. I mean, like all these O linemen are starting to move up. I mean, they probably will.
hmm.
Who's like out of the people available here though? Probably Banks.
I say we just lock it in then. Let's get this moving.
Yeah,
This mock draft taking forever.
Number
Go like a
20,
Seahawks
Seahawks.
again. Here's their actual pick off the season. Um,
Uh, I mean, Jackson's available here.
yeah, Lockett's getting old. Um, does he fit with the Seahawks though?
I mean,
He could.
because they took Jalen Carter already. They could go defense again. Or, like, maybe add D line this time. Someone like Elijah Cansey or Brian Brees.
Also, I was just looking at Brian Brees actually.
I don't think he goes above Elijah Cansey, though.
Uh, I don't know about Brees. Like you're two tackles. I don't know about that.
Who the other guys haven't taken? This guy hasn't taken Lucas Van Ness. This guy hasn't taken Zay Flowers. This guy hasn't taken Jordan. And I think if Jackson's the best receiver here, if they're gonna go with receiver, I don't see why they wouldn't just take him.
Metcalf at one, and then Jackson in the pocket.
Put him in the slot, yeah,
Yeah,
move him
or
around,
that's what I
have him
meant.
at different
I
gadgets.
said the pocket.
In the pocket,
I meant the
yeah,
slot.
no.
Jackson Smith
That's
throw.
what I thought you meant.
Yeah, no, in the slot. That's what I meant.
He's the best wide receiver there, and
All right.
he's already fallen that far. Just lock him in.
Interesting. All right, Bijan Robinson to the
And yep,
Chargers.
if we're gonna
I'm
just
telling
talk
you,
about that, why not?
it
It's
looks
actually
it looks great. Like that is what's going to
on it.
happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
We will see. Number 22, Ravens.
Jordan Addison or Quentin Johnson, I think.
I think his name is Johnston. I thought it was just Johnson.
Johnson, sorry, yep.
I think we go Quentin Johnson. I think that just is better for the Ravens. I haven't seen any clips of Jordan Addison either. But like Johnson's already worn the purple, it just works.
Yeah, I think he's probably gonna be a better outside threat for them.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock it in.
And number 23,
Vikings need some receiver help as well now that they've lost.
Yeah,
Thielen
I
to the
think maybe
Panthers.
with maybe Zay Flowers.
I've seen a lot of people pretty high on Zay Flowers.
Or do they go like corner? But I mean, who's available? Like,
I think there's Kelly Ringo, Cam Smith. The Vikings, their defense, they had a negative, like.
I mean, they brought in a bunch of good defensive players during free agency, but then they lost some too.
I think for right now, we just kind of assume maybe they get a receiver because they lost Thielen, and just Jefferson can't handle. I mean, he could handle it, but he's not going to handle all of it.
It's gonna be probably between Addison and Flowers.
I think I like Flowers, honestly.
And I don't know, he's a little shorter. I don't know, I think Addison would be better number 2 in that offense.
You think so? I haven't seen any Addison.
I've watched more of Addison over Flowers. I've watched a little bit of Flowers, but Addison's probably the best wide receiver still available.
I locked it in. I'm just gonna say fuck it and lock it in.
All of these wide receivers are kind of just They might be great. They might be solid.
Like I said earlier, Smith and Jigba, definitely the best receiver of the draft. Should go round 1. All the other ones, complete toss-up. So, Jaguars, 24. What do you think?
They probably just need to go corner, who's available?
Ringo,
Smith, or Forbes. I think Forbes is probably the best of those 3.
Emmanuel Forbes.
Is he worth that high pick?
I kind of like it, but
know what? I'm gonna say it'll be either Smith or Forbes.
I kind of like Forbes.
Yeah, he might not go that high, but I think he's better than those guys. I'm gonna
Whatever.
go with Forbes.
Whatever. It's a mock draft. Giants. Giants.
Giants.
Receiver.
I
Maybe.
don't think they're worth it. I think they should go
So.
like, hello, Cyrus Torrance is still on the board. Why not? Oh,
Okay.
actually, I think that's a lock if he's still there.
All right. All right. Screw it.
And Cowboys, I guess you can lead that one.
um, I would have
Baker Mayfield.
like a month ago. I would have said they need a cornerback, but we did just pick up Stephon Gilmore, so I don't really think that anymore. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if we did it anyway. We don't have Dalton Schultz anymore, but I don't. I've seen a lot of people there saying Dalton Kincaid or another tight end or something. I
Y'all
don't know.
really need a D line, don't you? Like,
Like a
haven't
D
really done
line?
much to build that.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
I mean, what you have Micah Parsons, and then you got
Parsons,
Lawrence, and
Lawrence.
then
I mean, the
but
other
your
ones are kind
interior
of
D
just
line.
fine. Interior D line
Yeah,
does
your
some
nose.
work.
You don't got any interior D line, and that's
Right there.
like you
Breeze,
can't
maybe.
stop the run.
Can't see. You're right about that. Like, they're fine, but,
I don't
like,
know. I think that's more important than taking a tight end,
we
honestly,
don't
with
need, we don't
the
need to
other
try that.
players you already have.
I was going to say, I mean, like, Ferguson was doing really solid last season. There's the other guy, Hendershot, was doing pretty solid as well. We don't really need another tight end, I don't think. And something about at least that scheme and like just Prescott throwing to the tight ends just worked no matter what. Um, Schultz was easily the best of them, and I think he's a totally underrated tight end in the whole league. But I don't think we need to
I don't.
draft a tight end here. I think
I don't
I
see
think you're
why
right.
you wouldn't take Cansey or Brees here.
I think I'm gonna go with I think I'll just go with Breesy here. Just like I think you're right. We do need an interior D line. Uh, we have Odigazua. I forget the other guy. And like they're fine. Like Odigazua is solid, but like nothing to write home about. So I think Breesy probably help here. So Buffalo Bills.
Bills.
Anthony
Do they
Richardson.
take?
Anthony Richardson's still on the board. That's crazy.
Yeah, do the Bills take Anthony Richardson?
No.
Anthony Richardson's still on the board, and the Bills haven't made their pick yet.
Just looking at the board, they don't need an edge rusher. They got Von Miller. They got
I
Russo.
mean, they could take an edge rusher still. I mean, Von Miller's injury prone, and then
He's old too. They could get someone
I
in
mean,
behind
they
Miller.
they always like having that rotation of pass rushers. Like that's what they're known for. I don't know, but they also need to start rebuilding that O line. They lost a couple pieces there. They could go. They need. They
Anton
haven't got a
Harris.
solid running back.
Well, who's the other guy? Your Gibbs is up there.
Amir Gibbs, yeah, I could see that being a possibility. I could see maybe
I don't know about two running backs in the first round though.
maybe Cody Mock at guard, or I mean, I could see them maybe taking wide receiver, maybe.
I don't know about that. They got I mean, they got Diggs. Davis is fine in the slot. They got Shakir. I think they're fine there. I think I mean Anton Harrison tackle, DeJuan Jones. Who'd you say just now?
Uh, for what their D line,
What are they? I mean, their D line's fine, really. Maybe their interior
like
D
they
line, but
might need, they might need some like O line, like interior O line.
okay.
I don't
I
know.
think I don't want to sit on this one or any of these. We're
I don't
getting
know because it's an interesting situation for the Bills.
this. I mean, it could be a make
But
it or break it pick because, like we said, the Bills are kind of at nearing a crossroads point where they need to
I
make
could see this
decisions.
being definitely a trade area too.
Well, we're not really mocking trades right now, so
But yeah, the and
they're fine at linebacker, fine at receiver. Their corners, who are their corners? They have White and their whole secondary is like solid, so we don't need to worry about that. They don't need edge. They got Knox at tight end. I think they take an offensive lineman here. I think they go Anthony Harris up on the board, Dewan Jones. Um,
honestly, if Anton Harrison is still there, why not?
why not? All right, we'll take Anthony Harrison there. Bengals. They. This is this. I think they go defense here.
I think it's gonna be O line or tight end.
I think they tight end. Oh, they don't have Hayden Hurst anymore. You're right. Michael Meyer. It's right there.
Well, Meyer, he could maybe Kincaid's gone. Maybe Darnell Washington.
They don't really have.
Like I could see them being
I could see this being like a Brian
Juan Jones
Branch.
maybe at O line, but otherwise, I don't know.
I could see this being like Brian Branch if he was still on the board. But in our draft, he went like 13 picks ago. So
I don't know. I feel like they're just gonna. They need to keep stacking that O line.
they need to keep Burrow healthy so they can pay him.
And the Juan Jones is there, and he's pretty good. He's fallen down to this spot.
I,
I like Dewan
I think we
Jones.
just put Dewan Jones in there then. Yeah. Saints are in a weird
Thanks.
spot right now.
Now, do they go with the tight
Anthony
end now that he is
Richardson.
there,
Oh, I like
or
I
do
like
they?
Meyer to the Saints actually.
I mean, they re-signed Jawan Johnson, and I like Jawan Johnson. And I mean, they got Taysom Hill, but they don't really use him at tight end most of the time.
Yeah, I like Meyer there. Honestly, I think that something about that
And
kind of
I could
fits.
see them taking Kalijah Cansey or Mozzie Smith there too, solidify that interior D line, or get someone like Isaiah Foxy or Will McDonald
Hendon
to take
Hendon
over for.
Hooker.
I don't think they're taking quarterbacks after Derek Carr.
Derek
I
Carr
mean,
now.
yeah.
I think
I mean,
I
they
like
could.
Meyer.
I don't know.
You're thinking too hard about this stuff.
I think interior D line is going to be more important for them.
So
I just don't want to see Cansey get taken right before the Eagles could take him. Uh, so how
I think I've got to
about
do Cansey then. I mean we can't live in your fantasy.
I don't know. Some of these drafts kind of have them take Mozzie Smith or Meyer too.
Okay, so we settle on Meyer then.
Okay, sure, we'll take Meyer.
All
I'll let
right.
you make the pick.
All right.
Cool, thank you.
So I guess that
Eagles
means
take Kalijah Cansey's here. Easy,
okay.
get him.
Kansas City
And then,
Chiefs, 31.
uh,
Miami Dolphins forfeit their pick from all that shit that went down. So they don't have
I
a first round
think
pick.
they could go wide receiver. They could go edge or D line. I think edge. Well, edge is D line. I think that's probably more important because they can turn any wide receiver.
All right, Anthony Richardson sounds good.
Oh, maybe Will McDonald or maybe Mozzie Smith. Um,
Um,
I like Will McDonald
you want me to just lock in Will McDonald then?
because they still have Chris Jones, that interior D tackle. He'll probably play for a few more years, but then I mean, they drafted George Karlaftis last year. He started to get good, but then they just cut Frank Clark. So he's gone. They're going to need new head guy off the edge to help out, take some of that load off of Chris Jones and Karlaftis.
So Will McDonald.
Yeah, well, I think McDonald's probably the best available there.
All right. Oh, here we go. I don't know what this is all about.
And
All right.
pull up your full results.
Full results. All right. Let's review the mock draft then.
I want to zoom that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get this worked out. I think all I gotta do is that. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So just round one. We're not doing all the picks, obviously, because we don't have time for that. This is already going on super long, which is fine. So, number one pick, Bryce Young. I think, I don't think there's anything we haven't said already with that.
Yeah.
So, we're just going to go through them. Keep in mind, like we said, we are not experts. We are just fans that enjoy the game. And just wanted to talk some football. So, yeah, pick number one, Bryce Young. Number two, C.J. Stroud to the Texans. Number three, Cardinals take Will Anderson Jr. Number four, Christian Gonzalez to the Colts. Number five is going to be Jalen Carter to the Seahawks. Number six, Detroit Lions pick up Devin Witherspoon. And then number seven, Tyree Wilson going to the Raiders. Number eight, Nolan Smith to the Falcons. Number nine, Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State to Chicago. I really butchered Chicago. That pronunciation. That's okay. Number 10, Peter Skoronski to the Eagles. Number 11 is going to be Will Levis to the Titans. That could be that whole quarterback thing is going to be interesting. We didn't draft Anthony Richardson at all here. We really slept on him.
And you know what? I think
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Moving on, Lucas Van Ness to the Texans at number 12. Number 13 is going to be Broderick Jones to the Jets. Number 14, Brian Branch to the Patriots. Number 15 is going to be Miles Murphy to Green Bay. At number 16, the Redskins pick up Darnell Wright. Number 17, the Steelers are going to pick up Joey Porter. 18, this is the where it got crazy, okay, with my amazing proposition. Kincaid to the Lions, and then we just burned through. Bucks, Deontay Banks, Seahawks, Jackson Smith and Jake Bubb. Goated receiver, by the way. Number 21, this is what's going to break the draft, okay? Bijan Robinson to the Chargers. Eckler trade incoming. He's going to the Cowboys. I don't...
Oh, my God.
So maybe he's actually drafted at later. I don't know. But anyway...
oh my God!
Something crazy happens, and they're gonna pick up Bijan Robinson because Eckler is going to Dallas. You heard it first here now. So yeah, just insider info. Just anyway, moving on.
Okay.
Yep. Watch out, Philly. Number 22, Quentin Johnson to the Ravens. 23, Vikings pick up Jordan Addison. A couple of back-to-back receivers there. Number 24, going to be Emmanuel Forbes to the Jags. Number 25, Giants pick up Osiris Torrance. 26, Cowboys pick up Brian. Is it Breezy? Brees? How do you say that? Brees. Brian Brees to the Cowboys at 26. Number 27, going to be Buffalo Bills picking up Anson Harrison. And then number 28, DeJuan Jones to the Bengals. Number 29, the Saints pick up Michael Meyer at tight end. Number 30, Kalijah Cansey to the Eagles. Number 31, last but certainly not least, going to be Will McDonald IV to the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think it's pretty clear the steal of this mock draft is Kalijah Cansey at 30. Probably not going to happen, but man, I would love for it to happen.
I think it's pretty clear the steal of this draft is going to be Bijan Robinson at 21 to the Chargers, while the Cowboys Eckler and the blockbuster trade that leads to their appearance in Super Bowl 58. You ready?
Now, Eagles fans who are watching, I do not really like Skoronski at 10. I think we should trade out of the pick if Nolan Smith or none of the
Yeah, like
top corners are available.
we brainstormed trades.
I
We
mean,
did not actually do anything in this
I
mock
think he's
draft.
a good player, but I think we would be better off trading out of that pick if he's the best player available there.
You don't necessarily need the early pick. Like your roster is mostly loaded still,
I
even
mean,
after.
it's just that we probably aren't gonna have an opportunity to have this high pick for a while, so
Yeah, and
that's why I need to take advantage of it.
I think you would have kept it had Darius Slade not come back.
Yeah,
Like
I
you would
mean,
have
if
gone
Darius Slade didn't come back, we definitely would have gone for someone like Gonzalez or Witherspoon if they're still
exactly.
there.
That's what I'm saying.
I
You
mean,
would have gone for a good corner.
I still think we could go for one of them if one of them falls there for sure, but
Yeah,
and I
maybe.
would be fine with taking one like yeah, I like Gonzalez. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, that was the official head-to-head mock draft for 2023. That took a really long time, but I'm pretty happy
I'm
with
pretty
it.
happy with some of those picks, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we didn't really simulate any trades or anything. We discussed potential trades a little bit, but a lot of it
Yeah,
was kind
really
of
the
just
trades. Who the hell knows what's gonna happen, yeah.
yeah. I'm excited for the draft this weekend. We will be recording right after the first round, pretty much getting raw reactions and discussing that for probably a majority of the show next week. Next week, this week, next
Yep.
episode. I'm excited. It's gonna be great. Um, I think this is a good point to wrap it up. Going on 2 hours now. That was a
Oh
little bit
yeah, dang.
a
A
little bit
lot
longer,
longer.
a little bit longer than we initially expected, but
Well,
that's it.
for anyone that did stick around to the end of this, thank you for watching and listening to our dumb football takes. But we hope they get better over the next few weeks, over the next few episodes, try and get into a little groove and find, what we can excel at. But I'm excited for the draft reaction on Thursday night. That should be a lot of fun. If we
Yeah,
complain about
yeah, I'm
who our
excited for
team's
that.
draft or what our team should have done. And maybe get to see the Aaron Rodgers trade or any other interesting players get traded.
Eckler to the Cowboys. You
Oh,
never
yep.
know. Yeah, yeah, I'm excited. We got a lot planned. We're just ready to go.
Yep.
I think I think that's all we got for today.
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up here. Make sure to smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and hit those notification bell
Don't
so you
forget
can
that.
get notified right away when new episodes are live. We're looking to have new episodes out every week and around probably every Thursday night or every Friday. So yeah, stay tuned.
All that smashing like button stuff was also just like actually do that, but like we're making fun of content creators. But yeah, no, actually, appreciate you tuning in. Do make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Leave us a comment with feedback. We'd love to hear the criticism
Yes,
or
feedback, please.
feedback, please. We are starting off and excited to grow and continue. And I think that's all we got for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next
Yeah.
episode. Peace out.